Welcome, everybody, to No Room for Comfort podcast. I am your host, Jesse Waterhouse, and I want to thank everyone for being here with me this evening. If you're watching right now, I am streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. And if you would like to join my Discord server, that is No Room for Comfort podcast on the Discord server. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I also take all of my recordings and I put them up on Spotify for all of you to view, as well as YouTube. But please, if you're on any of those platforms, please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions about this topic, or if you have any suggestions about future topics, you can email me at noroomforcomfortpodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to be a call-in guest on this show, again, email me at noroomforcomfortpodcast@gmail.com, and I would love to have that conversation. So, for this evening's discussion, I'm going to dive into the topic of accountability. Now, accountability. So, I have no predisposed research on what I feel about accountability. I had no plan coming into this about what I was going to talk about accountability. And that is kind of the whole point of accountability. Because accountability comes from the actions of people, and accountability becomes a choice. So in everyday life, when you're performing tasks, whether it's at work, whether it's through your relationships with people, whether it's socially, whatever it may be, accountability becomes a thing where you have to choose to have it, right? So when you make choices or make decisions, and those decisions result in mistakes, your choice is the accountability. So I've read books from Brian Gleason about how he feels about accountability and his opinion of accountability and the way he lives his life through accountability as a Navy SEAL and going through being a Navy SEAL, and how accountability can actually help uplift your life. And the way he explains it is a choice for you. So I'll give an example. Say you go through your workday and you go through the motions of whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to achieve, right? And you get to the point where you're given a task and may have been something that you weren't used to doing before. You ask the questions you need to ask for whatever questions you need to ask, and you talk to people that you need to talk to, and then you go through and you perform the actions, and then at some point there's a mistake made. I don't care who you are. If you are a human being, if you are existing, there will be mistakes. Mistakes are a part of being human. I've done it before many, 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 many times. Believe me. So many times I've had to learn. And the thing is, the perspective of accountability can really help you grow as a person. So in making those mistakes comes reflection. Now, at first, you may not realize you made the mistake. The mistake may be brought up by somebody else after the fact. You may go through everything, think everything's okay, and then after the fact, the mistake is brought up to you and told to you that you had done something the wrong way. Okay? So everyone has a different way of doing things, but the wrong way. So like if it's something that violated some sort of procedure that was supposed to take place and you were unknowing of it, whatever it may be. Or if you, I shouldn't say promised like a customer something and then it didn't come true for them, But it would be more so like something like you you're not necessarily the person at fault, but you're on the end user side of things. So, for example, logistics is a perfect example of accountability because logistics is out of your control, right? But when it comes to something like keeping people on time for repairing equipment or keeping people on time for getting something that they truly need to keep making a living, and if they really depended on it being there the next day, and the next day comes and logistically whatever company was supposed to deliver it did not deliver it, you have to make that call and you have to talk to whoever about it, right? So this is like a work example. Well, the thing is you're the one face to face with them or you're the one over the phone with them. So they're not going to be looking at the logistics company. They're going to be looking at you. You did all you could, and whatever was out of your control is whatever was out of your control. But you still have to take some accountability for it. And the reason why I say that is because when you talk to them and you say the word should, now that's an uncertain word, but people will take that as, okay, cool. This is going to fall on you if it doesn't happen, and it certainly does. So if you say, okay, this should be here tomorrow, and then it doesn't arrive, you need to call them up and you need to tell them what you were looking for did not arrive. But accountability is falling on you. So it doesn't mean that you need to bow down to the idea of letting the mistake walk all over you. Because certainly, if it was not delivered, it is out of your control. But I do not believe in the excuse of blaming. So what I mean is, you wouldn't call them up and say, well, you know, the company that was supposed to deliver it, they never delivered it. They lost it. They did this. They did that. Because people do not want to hear excuses. No matter what it is in your life, whether it be relationships, whether it be at your work, whether it be anything personal, they do not want to hear excuses. And you should not allow excuses to override your temperament. You should not allow excuses to become a part of your life. So what I believe is, so when you call them up and you tell them, and you should say, what you were looking for did not arrive today. This is all on me. I should have confirmed with where I was getting it from that it would absolutely be here. Now, there are acts of God, so like if weather happens, you don't need to make an excuse for that. So like there's a horrific winter storm, and it's just it absolutely didn't make it because this storm swept. You could still be accountable and say, I did not account for the weather being the way the weather ended up. I should have been on the lookout for that. I sincerely apologize for, and any time that you come to that conclusion and you express that, people typically tend to understand, and that happens throughout all aspects of life. If you hide behind a mask of excuses, people are going to lose respect for you, and I truly believe that. You should hold yourself accountable for whatever it needs to be, because I look at things in a way of listing out objectives throughout your day. And you have these objectives that you're trying to attain. And if you don't do that for yourself, you're letting yourself down. If you're letting other people down, you're still letting yourself down. So it's important to rise up and believe in that. Accountability has a lot to do with avoiding excuses. Not only avoid excuses, but another part of accountability is learning to avoid complaining. Complaining is a very, very difficult thing to avoid. Complaining is so difficult. And it's difficult because the brain is always looking towards the negative. And complaining is looking at the poor me side of things, and why do I have to attribute to so much while I watch other people who make more attribute to such less. Well, the thing is you have to be accountable for yourself for that, even because you chose to be where you are. You chose to sign up for what you signed up for. And if things aren't going your way, then it is up to you to change them. Nobody is going to change it for you. The idea that opportunity finds you is very, very, very rare. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it is a very rare thing. The opportunities that surround you, you have to be on the lookout for. They typically will not come to you. Accountability has led me to more financial success than I normally would have had when I wasn't accountable. It's led me to more relationship success than if I were not accountable. And that is very, very important. When it comes to relationships, can you imagine? Say you're in a relationship with somebody. The person you're in a relationship, especially if it's long-term, they're going to know you better than many other people. And the really screwy thing about getting into a relationship with somebody that you get to know very well, and especially if it's long-term, is sometimes you'll do something outside of the ordinary, in terms of like treatment. There are times where it's like there are situations that may be taken for granted. It's not like you're mistreating them or anything. It's just like you know them so well that it's like we're going to almost take for granted some of the ideas or some of the ways that you exhibit behavior. And it is very easy to like fall off course with things that you feel or things that you do, or maybe not even notice. But if someone opens up to you that you're in a relationship about something like a mistake that you may have made, or something that you said that maybe you shouldn't have said, or anything like that, it is a really good idea to actually take accountability for it, because if you do, then you can sit down, you can compromise with that person, and you can work through it and move on. If you don't hold yourself accountable, if you decide to disregard everything that you did, it's going to build resentment in them. And with resentment, there's disillusion. With disillusion, there eventually comes a collapse of the relationship. So it's a very tricky thing, but with accountability, there also needs to be reflection. So there's truth to accountability in the real world as we sit right now in society. I'll come out with some truths I feel that some people will probably view as opinion, and it really is opinion, but I would really like to express what they are. So I'm quite obviously American, and there is a lot of stuff going on in this country right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in this country that has to do with accountability. There are many individuals who are refusing to hold themselves accountable for a lot of things. And it's all opening up, and it's all unraveling. I believe there are elite groups. There is this entire hierarchy of many people who are involved in the Epstein case. hiding behind the mask of fame, fortune, and they believe that they might possibly be invincible. And they haven't held themselves accountable for being unethical and being destructive. If things happen to innocent people on their watch, if things happen to innocent people and they acted towards those innocent people to be a part of this brainwashed, fucked up group, they need to be forced to be accountable for what they have done. There's a lot of fraud that is going on. And the headlines in Minnesota have stated the fraud that is going on. So, I've come into this podcast as a result of wanting to speak about certain things. So, I wanted to speak about how you can grow yourself, how you can be positive, how you can better yourself. And I will continue to do that because I believe that is the most important thing. Because the reason why I started this podcast is to help people. There are people out there with mental illness. There are people out there that are struggling. There are people out there with depression. There are people out there with all of these problems. And I want to be a place where people can come to and where they can listen to my experiences about all of the struggles and all of the shit that I have had to go through in order to make it to where I am, to build myself stronger, to build myself better every day. And I want to walk side by side with those people to help make them better. I want people to reach out to me if they are having problems, if they're struggling, if they are going through things, to reach out to me so that I can help them through this stuff, through things that are happening. And right now, the way all the media and everything is being portrayed to people, all this information overload is coming in so rapidly. I think there are people out there that are being driven mad by what is going on, by everything that is going on. We are not designed to take this all in the way we are taking this in because of technology, because of mass media, and because of information overload. I sit here and I'll do a 45-minute to an hour podcast. But the thing is, the attention span of people has gone from this to this. And they'll see it. I'll post a short clip and I'll get this many views, but I'll have a whole entire podcast and people can't hang on because they need to know what the next thing is. It's just like we're always in fight or flight mode. I'm getting off topic to what the accountability is, but I did need to express that. But the fraud that is going on in Minnesota. So here is what I believe about that fraud in Minnesota. So we have political agencies, and it's been known for so long. It's been known throughout the ages. This is nothing new. I've been reading books on ancient Roman culture and ancient Roman politics. This is a thousands and thousands and thousands of year old thing that has been going on throughout human history. This is not something new. This is not something so direly new that people need to just frantically panic about. Now, it is concerning. Abso-fucking-lutely it is concerning. But it is nothing new in society and geopolitical history. This is not anything new. But this is developing within our country. The fraud in Minnesota. They're talking something like $9 billion of fraud. All of these daycare centers are being opened up. And it's being shown that they are not taking children in, but they are receiving government aid. So that means that the taxpayers are paying all of this money to fund all of these places. And where is all this money going? You've got these people who are driving new vehicles, who are supporting their families, who are sending money back home, and some of them are even sending money to terroristic organizations. Now, I'm working very hard for my money, and if my tax dollars are going towards funding those things, it makes me very upset that my money is going towards those things, working as hard as I do. Now, is 100% of the blame on the people doing it? Well, you know what? You could say it might be, but it is not. I'm going to tell myself that I am indirectly to blame because I turned a blind eye to what was going on. And you could say, how could you possibly know that was going on? Well, you know. I lived in a community for 7 years. I lived in a community for 7 years where I saw signs of these things, and I did not allow myself to look into them. I just kind of scratched my head and I was like, okay, so I'm working my fucking ass off while my neighbor here is driving this new beautiful vehicle and I'm driving this beater piece of shit. This was before, but I'm like, what's going on? Like, are they really good at saving money? Well, then I came to realize, I lived, and this is when I was much younger, but I lived in an apartment complex and I was there, and there would be days that I would take PTO and then I'd come back around home and be like the middle of the day in the middle of the week. And then I would notice that these vehicles would be there. These people would be out and about and they would be conversing and their community would be joined together and they'd be out with each other in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day. Every time that I would take off, I'm like, is this coincidence or what are they doing? And, I'll have naysayers. I'll have people who oppose me. And I am not a fucking racist. My wife is Asian. But there will be people out there that will tell me that I'm a racist and I'm all of this. But this is coming from the Somali community in Minnesota. It absolutely is. And then you have people out there that are saying, okay, well, you can't blame the entire community for what some fraudulent people are doing. Well, here is the deal. I've lived alongside a lot of the Somali community for 7 years, for the better part of a decade. I've met many of them that were very good people. I've met many of them that were very hardworking people. But I've also met many of them that were the opposite. And what does that tell you? It tells you that this is consistent no matter the ethnicity. But for people to come in here after being given asylum from a civil war and then to take advantage of us and to steal the money, send it to the wrong place, and then to tell us that we are dumb and that we need to support them, and that, we're taking your money, support us, white boy, support us. Like the video of that one fucking guy on TikTok, YouTube, whatever. You can see it anywhere, whatever. Like, are you kidding me? No. That's not what being American is all about. Those people, if you were going to stand behind those people and say that they do not deserve to be sent back to their own country, they do not deserve to be held accountable for stealing, for being fraudulent, then what is wrong with you? Where is your accountability as an American citizen? Anything out of the spectrum of being a thief, where is your accountability as an American citizen? By saying that, you might think I'm ultra mega, but the thing is, I am very moderate. And now I told myself, I'm going to avoid the political spectrum of things. And the thing is, I really want to avoid the political spectrum of things, but it's hard to contain myself anymore when all of this stuff is happening. It affects me. It affects me. It affects my family. It affects people I love. They need to be held accountable. I'm not saying every person in that community needs to be held accountable, but I'm saying the people that were fraudulent need to be held accountable. The politicians that are fraudulent need to be accountable. I don't care who you are as a politician. If you are committing crimes, if you're being fraudulent, if you're doing unethical things, you need to be held accountable. That is what accountability means to me. You need to be held accountable for what you are doing. You need to be held accountable. If you aren't held accountable for what you're doing, there is going to be no healing. There's going to be no healing throughout this country. There's going to be no healing through the nuclear family or our society, and it is very important that we do that. If we do not do that, we are going to see a demise and a collapse of our society. And the fact that we've got people on this side and we got people on this side, and these people are saying, leave everyone alone. We got these people saying we need to hold these people accountable, and they're clashing with each other, and we become enemies, and our neighbors are our enemies. Then what the fuck are we doing? Because we've gotten to the point to where words mean nothing. If I'm on one side, I'll hear you out. If you're on the other side, I'll hear you out. What I am willing to do is I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to listen to what you feel. Okay? So you'll say a certain thing, and I'll say, well, why do you feel that way? I want to know why you feel that way. I genuinely do want to know why you feel that way, because if I oppose it or if I don't agree with it, there's a reason why I don't agree with it. But I ask for perspective, because if it means that much to you that you feel a certain way and you haven't done anything wrong to me, I owe you the respect of at least listening to what you have to say. And I wish that more people would try to do that, because we are at a point to where we really do need to listen to each other. If we don't open up and listen to each other and try and figure something out, we are going to continue to spiral into something just absolutely horrible, I believe. In my opinion, I believe it's not going to get any better unless we try to work it out. And I'm calling on people to try and work it out. And it's hard to say that when, both sides are at each other's throats. And I know there's a lot of people out there trying to try to mediate this whole thing, everything that's going on. But we have to try. If we don't try, you can't just let the dominoes fall and watch it fall apart. There's a lot of people on several spectrums that are absolutely radical and unrational. And those people, they just kind of need to just seek help, because you got to think things through logically. You can't just fly off the handle and be super irrational and expect to really, 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 really make a difference. Because if you get too extreme, it only creates tragedy. And that is an opinion of mine. If you get too extreme, it only creates tragedy. That's an opinion of mine. But for one thing is for people to say that you can't blame the community for a certain amount of people being fraudulent. Well, yes and no, because I believe that the community knew. It's a very, very social and tight knit community, I believe, that they knew. And I don't 100% blame everybody in that community for the fraud, because I believe that if they were to betray their community, it would have very harmful aspects on them. And they're, from a person who believes in protecting their family, it wasn't hurtful for them to maybe just look the other way. That's the way I feel about it. And not that it's right, but not that it's wrong either, but it's not that it's right. But I had to open up about this tonight because it's been weighing on me. And that's why I chose accountability for this podcast session, is because of how I've been feeling about these things. There's going to be a lot of people, maybe a lot of pushback about what people feel about my opinion on things. And that's okay. That's absolutely your right to feel that way. But what I ask about it is if you do feel that way, I want to know the reason why you feel that way. And if we have a conversation and you talk to me about it, and I see your point, I have the possibility of changing perspective. And that's what I will always keep myself open to, because if I'm wrong about things, I want to hold myself accountable for what I'm wrong for, including my opinions. And that's the whole idea of freedom in the United States of America. And the beauty about the United States of America is that we can have conversations with each other. And I want the violence to end. I want, on all aspects, I want the violence to end. I want people to sit down. I want people to talk. There's that ancient proverb that the pen is mightier than the sword. And what it means is coming to an agreement can stop violence. And I believe that's what we can do as a society. We can hold ourselves accountable for our own negative opinions, open ourselves up to the idea that we can have conversations with each other and we can heal as a society. I have friends on both sides of whatever this is. I have family on both sides of whatever this is. And no matter their opinions, no matter their beliefs, I love them because not any of them have directly tried to harm me. And there is this narrative going around that if you are one way or the other, that person must be trying to harm you because they are believing in something you don't believe in. Well, no, we need to figure out the facts. And it's them against us. And it's them against us. And what I mean by them is the people that are trying to push their narratives, people that have something to gain. Because the common man, the common civilian, the brothers, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your friends, your aunts, your uncles, people that are a part of your life that you love, should not be broken up. We should be able to sit down and talk to each other. Our neighbors, we should be able to sit down and talk to each other. We all believe in different things. And there once was a time here that it was not a crime. And it was a discussion that could be had. And it's very important to me that we can get back to that place. Yeah. I want to hold myself accountable for not opening up to a lot of the people I care about what I truly feel. I want to hold myself accountable for not thinking it through sometimes before I spoke about what I felt. Because there have been times where I'll speak about something and it's not necessarily how I felt. Because I didn't give it enough thought. Because I didn't see it as face value. And I reflect on it, and I'll give it to I give myself a reason to always seek what I feel is the truth. And I want others to do that. Be true to yourself is what I mean. And things will become more healthy if you're true to yourself. So, yeah. I want to end this on a positive note, because a lot of what it's not that a lot of what I said wasn't a positive note. It was just kind of a strong statement about everything that I've been feeling. But it really needed to be said for me, because it lives in the name of this podcast, No Room for Comfort. And before I started this episode, I was feeling a level of discomfort, because I have friends and I have people in my life that, may disagree about the way I feel about things, but the truth is like, I will see a human being as a human being, no matter who they are or what that. But if you live with the intention that you want to harm me or my family, or if you want to be a harmful person or a bad person or an unethical person just in society itself, well then, no, I don't agree with you. I don't wish to agree with you. I much rather avoid. If you're a fraudulent person, I want to see you held accountable. If you hurt children or women, or you're doing bad things in general, I want to see you held accountable. I want to see justice. If you are an illegal immigrant and you rape and murder a woman, or you commit serious crimes, our country does not owe you anything. I wish to see you prosecuted with the full extent of the law. And here's another thing I believe. If you are not legal, but you are contributing to society, assimilating, and you are a kind person, and you are a loving person, and you love your family, and you love your neighbors, and you're doing everything that an American would do, instead of deporting you, I believe that we should help you towards a path of citizenship. Because if you are that person, I believe that you should be an American, because those are the people that we need in our country. But if you are bad and you are hurting people and you are from another country illegally, yes, there should be justice and you should be gone. Isn't that what most people should feel? It doesn't mean there's a general discrimination against a group of people. But let's say you walk into a room and 4 of those people are amazing people. And then you got one person in that room, and they're a vile, terrible person. And they committed terrible acts right in front of a camera, right in front of you, or you just know that they've committed terrible acts. Would you not want them would you not want justice for them? Or, excuse me, would you not want justice for whatever they have done? And would you not want the good people to be protected and the good people to be brought in under an umbrella? I think most people would answer, yeah, we would like to see that. Good people should be rewarded, and bad people, we should discipline. Because that's just the way life goes. Or that's the way life should go. But yeah, so it seems like this is a very quick discussion on the topic of accountability, and it may not have been the most positive sense of something that I feel, but please let me know your thoughts. I'm streaming right now live on YouTube and Twitch. This will be put up on Spotify. It'll be put up on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'll have short clips on those, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you have any questions about the episode, again, my email is noroomforcomfortpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to be a call-in guest, again, noroomforcomfortpodcast@gmail.com. You can join me anytime on my Discord server, No Room for Comfort Podcast. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me on this podcast tonight. And I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you.